Let me circle back, if I could, to the question we were on when Mark Amato showed up late. We were talking about Kirk Douglas talking about himself in the third person on Rambo, and how he said, we said it should have been a chapter title when Kirk Douglas, in chapter title in your book, when Kirk Douglas said, well, Kirk Douglas is quitting and Kirk Douglas is going back to Beverly Hills tonight.
That's right.
But it really did work out for you well, I think, to have the Troutman role replaced.
Yes.
Because Richard Crenna really knew the movie, seemed to understand. And Mark is a pretty intrepid writer, so I think he kind of understood what his role, what his mechanism was in the film. He knew, okay, Troutman is just a facilitator, and kind of he's the backstory to why this is happening to some degree.
He's Frankenstein creating Frankenstein's
exactly.
monster.
That's right.
And I mean, I don't mean to be riffing off of this, but if you had to work with Kirk would have made it's Kirk Douglas.
That's right.
And he would have made it his movie, and the whole thing would have been ruined.
Unbalanced. It's true.
Yeah.
You're absolutely. You're so smart. You're very smart, Mark.
Well,
yes.
You're not just a
Don't
pretty.
tell him
You're
that too much, Ted.
not just a pretty face. But you know, the whole point is that we're saying what were we talking about? I'm sorry.
Frankenstein's monster and Kirk
that's
Douglas.
right. Because he has the line at the end, and where Rambo says to him, to his colonel, he says, "You conceived of me, you made me, now you kill me." He wanted to be killed by him, and put himself out of a misery because he found there was no place for him in this country.
Whatever possessed God in heaven to make a man like Rambo?
God didn't make Rambo. I made him.
Who the hell are you?
Sam Troutman. Colonel Samuel Troutman.
Look, we're a little busy this morning, Colonel. What can I do for you?
I've come to get my boy.
Your boy?
I recruited him. I trained him. I commanded him in Vietnam for 3 years. I'd say that makes him mine.
I wonder why the Pentagon would send a full-bird colonel down here to handle this.
The Army thought I might be able to help.
Well, I don't know in what way. Rambo's a civilian now. He's my problem.
I don't think you understand. I didn't come here to rescue Rambo from you. I came here to rescue you from him.
Well, we all appreciate your concern, Colonel. And we'll try to be extra careful.
I'm just amazed that he allowed any of your posse to live.
Is that right?
Strictly speaking, he slipped up. You're lucky to be breathing.
That's just great. Colonel, you came out here to find out why one of your machines blew a gasket.
You don't seem to want to accept the fact that you're dealing with an expert in guerrilla warfare. With a man who's the best. With guns, with knives, with his bare hands. A man who's been trained to ignore pain, ignore weather, to live off the land, to eat things that'll make a billy goat puke. In Vietnam, his job was to dispose of enemy personnel, to kill, period. Win by attrition. Well, Rambo was the best.
Okay, Colonel, now you got us all scared to death. What do you in the Special Forces think I ought to do about your psycho out there?
Let him go.
Do what?
For now. Diffuse the whole situation. Diffuse him. Provide a little gap and let him slip through it. Then put out a nationwide APB. In a couple of weeks, you'll pick him up in Seattle or someplace working in a car wash. There'll be no fight and nobody else will get hurt.
I do my own work. I don't figure the best way to do that is to close my eyes and hope he gets picked up in Seattle.
Well, if you send your people in there after him, they'll get killed.
You know, we're just a small hick-town sheriff's department, Colonel, but we're expected to do our duty, just like our heroes in the Special Forces.
In Special Forces, we teach our people to stay alive in the line of duty.
No shit. I never thought of that.
You want a war you can't win?
Are you telling me that 200 men against your boy is a no-win situation for us?
You send that many, don't forget one thing.
What?
a good supply of body bags.
They were known as Lucifer and the Men with Painted Faces when they burned New Orleans to the ground. And when they sacked Panama, I knew that my road to redemption would be paved with tombstones. And by the time they brought the apocalypse to West Africa and the Indian Ocean, I would come to know two words with biblical significance. No quarter. No quarter. Kill All Masters. Rated R. Coming soon. Available on all platforms. Visit noquarterkillallmasters.com.
Nothing is over. Nothing is over.
That's right.
Anyway, go ahead.
And you had the reshoots, right? Because you had shot the movie where he did die.
That's right.
And then it's sort of like it was tested in terms of like, okay, no, this is a
Yes, at first, it was always conceived of us as a suicide mission. When he comes back across that bridge at the beginning, he knows that this is going to end badly.
Right.
And there was no place for him in America, like for a lot of Vietnam members. Right. You know, when I did that film, a lot of Americans don't know this. When I made my film, and in the year, in 2000, anyway, veterans were committing suicide, 1,000 a month, 1,000 attempts at suicide, and 350 were successful every month. We lost Vietnam veterans because we treated them so badly. The right wing thought they were a bunch of losers. The left wing thought they were a bunch of baby killers.
Right.
And they just they didn't want to go fight in Vietnam. We sent them there.
Was there any truth to the stories that came out after that movie about Stallone getting death threats from veterans or veterans being unhappy with what he was doing?
No.
That there is no truth to that.
No, the veterans, they loved that film. They loved me.
Well, I can see that. That I can. And I love the movie, too. I thought the movie actually kind of about it in a way that was unusual at the time.
Well, you know, another aspect that was brilliant about it was that the character did not kill anybody. He was wounded, right?
That's
but he didn't kill anybody. As you said, all the follow-ups, and that kind of went off the board. But that's why the movie works so well, just as a allegory. I have no idea what words to use to describe it for the time.
He came back from Vietnam where he'd seen all his friends had been killed.
Right.
He himself had killed civilians in the battle. The last thing on earth he was going to come back to the country that he loved and start killing people.
Right.
I said no.
I have two quick bullet points for you. The first one is I know you conceived of it as a suicide picture, but to me, just with my limited history at feature development at Warner Brothers, when Stallone walks back over the bridge, that's when I think in my head, this guy can walk over bridges in Tijuana, in Vietnam, in Honolulu, in Moscow. There's no way this guy dies in the end. As soon as he moves across the bridge, I said, this guy cannot die in the end. And I know that's early in the movie, but that is the moment where you think, there's a bridge in every country.
That's right.
There's a score to settle in every country, and this is the mechanism to do it.
Do you know they knocked that bridge down?
Oh, too bad.
I know. They put up it was an old wooden bridge.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and people loved that so much. They flew in from Australia, from Great Britain, to see this bridge.
Oh, wow.
This holy bridge that Rambo had walked across.
Do they do screenings out there and they have like Rambo nights in that town?
Yeah. They love me out there. Yeah,
I bet that.
In that sound.
I also have to give Brian Dennehy credit because he really kind of played it as this unrepentant, just hardliner in a way where now you can see the actor would say, well, let's have a backstory that maybe my family was killed in a car crash and I'm just an angry sheriff. But that was just a perfect we don't like hippie trash in this town and Trump's America, basically.
But I think in the book or in the story, I think he's a veteran himself from the Korean War. Mm-hmm. So he knows. So he has but he has no patience for Rambo.
But it
still holds up when you think about it today. And I haven't seen it. I wanted to watch it before I came here again today just to see. Let me see if that holds up. But as we're talking about the movie, every image is inside the brain, right? Like I remember it exactly. And it worked. I think it must still translate today as well as it did back then. What was it, 1982? 82.
Well, Chris Mulkey, who went on to do Twin Peaks and 900 other things, Boardwalk Empire, sent me a text saying, "Tell Ted hello. I was one of his deputies in First Blood. I got punched in the head by
I remember
Stallone.
him.
I had to shave Stallone. He went nuts. I didn't want to cut him, and he beat all of us to a pulp. But yeah, he has a huge amount of respect for you, as he should. But it's funny how the story and kind of the police brutality leaks out almost through the deputies, like the ones with the conscience can't really. They start letting it go, like, hey, we got really kind of rough with him in the cell block, and that may have been
the trigger
where the fuse was lit. Yeah,
the fuse was lit, exactly.
And you have to give credit to Stallone. Whatever your opinion may be, he sells it. He sold out for that role.
Well, my opinion, I think he was wonderful.
No, not your opinion. I know you liked him. I liked him in it too a lot.
Your road to redemption is paved with tombstones. No quarter, kill all masters. Go to noquarterkillallmasters.com. Rated R.